you financially trapped in your job? And you know what I mean by financially trapped, whereby you're in a job that you don't like, let alone love, but the only reason why you're still there is because of the money. You've got bills to pay, right? You've got mortgages, you've got responsibilities, and you need that income. But despite that, you have been applying for hundreds of jobs trying to find a way out, but you just can't quite get the salary or the income that you need to leave that job. But let's face it, you're likely at a point whereby actually you just don't need another job. You just need to be able to replace your income so you can live the life that you deserve. So this is really what this podcast episode is about. It is about how you can achieve a balanced life, practice medicine on your own terms, or just have some more time back to yourself, all by replacing your current clinical income. So stay tuned.
So let's get real. Our value as doctors has significantly diminished over the last decade. So how can we turn that around by upskilling and creating rewarding and impactful careers on our own terms? Welcome to Disrupting Doctors' Careers. I'm your host, Dr. Abeyna Bubbers-Jones, and I'm on a mission to connect 1 million talented doctors with the best in diverse career opportunities.
So welcome again. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you've listened to this episode already, but also if you've listened to several podcast episodes, you know that this podcast is for you. I only talk about issues that are affecting doctors in career change. This is my niche. This is what I love. This is what I'm going through myself a lot of the time. And I help hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions of doctors across the world like you to achieve a career and a life on their own terms. And if you want to hear more from me, go to medicfootprints.org/join our mission. So why did I choose this topic, how to replace your income? Because it comes up again and again, basically. It came up again in a conversation I had with one of my team members in the travel doctorpreneurs. I mean, to be fair, we're all there really to focus on replacing our clinical income. But it can be quite hard, don't get me wrong, as a doctor. As a doctor, we're generally very well paid compared to the normal population, to be fair, if you look at it that way. But also I appreciate, particularly if you're someone in the UK, you know, the impact of inflation. In inflation terms, we aren't being paid very well at all. And so, as you know, there's been a lot of striking, particularly in the UK, and a lot of doctors leaving the profession over pay, but we know it's not just about pay, it's other things. But for those of us who are still trapped in our jobs, mainly because of the money, how else can we get out of these jobs and replace our income without getting too caught up in something else that we don't love? So let me talk through 4 steps that you need to take in order to replace your income in a sustainable way. So the first step is, and I always say this to doctors on our Doctors in Industry Fellowship, it's so important to really clarify why is it important for you to replace your income and actually write that down. So this could be like, so for example, we have a doctor on our team who's saying, I want to do this because I've been doing medicine for such a long time. I am tired and I want to spend more time with my family. I want to spend more time with my kids, right? That's just one good why. Another why is actually, I'm really passionate, this is another team member, I'm really passionate about preventative medicine, lifestyle medicine. However, I cannot do that in my current work environment. But if I was able to replace my income, I could focus on developing a clinic and developing my practice and doing that in a way that I can practice medicine as I see fit. So for you, you may have another why. It could be traveling. It could be completely leaving healthcare, whatever it is. Just be very clear on your why and write it down, because that why is what will keep you on track and keep you going when replacing your income will feel hard over time. It's so you can keep coming back to that why. Step 2, you have to look at your finances. And guys, as doctors, we are not good with money. Let's be clear, we aren't that very good at money. We don't do the numbers. We never have to come across the numbers in healthcare. But numbers are important, especially when you're looking at replacing your income. So one of the most important things I would say to look at is your expenses. Can you reduce your expenses to a point where you're still able to pay for what you need to and living a reasonable life? If you say, I've looked at that and I've maximized that a lot, you've maximized it, great, you've done it, you're sorted. But if you haven't, this is a really great opportunity for you to do so. And if you need support with that, I always say, get a financial advisor involved. It is really important to know your numbers, especially when you're looking at replacing your income and making life easier for yourself in your pocket. So the third step is the strategy, and this is the most important step. So a lot of us, when we're looking to replace our income, we're looking essentially for a job that pays either the same or better. A lot of people are looking to move away from clinical entirely to non-clinical, but it's really about finding an equivalent or better income. But as I've always said, the challenge with having one income is if, again, you are financially trapped in that one job. You are financially trapped to that. So if you were to start a job that you didn't like, again, you'd be stuck until you found another job that was able to afford you that same level of income. So I always say, if you are looking to replace your income, don't rely on one income to replace it with. I would say focus on replacing it with multiple sources of income. And start with, also if you're quite busy and you're full time, try not to deal with more than 2 or 3 new income sources. And actually, ideally, I'd say 2, the best. And make sure that one of those sources, at least one of those, affords you a passive income over time. So when you look at the kind of income that we're used to generating as doctors, as professionals, is that we exchange our time for money. So it's what we call a linear income, right? So we work, we earn money, we stop working, we go on sick leave. When that sick leave runs out, then we stop earning money. Or if you're self-employed, you get paid when you work, and that's it. You don't work, you don't get paid. So that is linear income, where it's directly tied to the work that you do. Whereas when you look at passive income, which is the dream for anyone, or residual income, that is money that keeps on going, particularly even when you stopped. So example of that would be like traditional investments or savings with good interest rates or property or anything like that. But as you know, in today's economy and online and technology, there are limitless ways to earn money that's scalable and relatively passive with some degree of upfront work. But once you've actually done the upfront work, it scales, which means that you don't need to do a similar amount of work to actually earn more money. So examples of that could be, for example, setting up an online course and then selling it on Udemy, or it could be even creating a book and selling it. I know there's not much money in books unless you're amazingly successful, but you see my drift. You do some upfront work and then it grows. You could even say YouTube, but YouTube, it's so difficult to make money sustainably on YouTube. You have to really, really, really go for it. But saying that, creators can get brand deals and sponsorships, you name it. So anyway, going back to the passive, we have a whole list of passive ideas on our website, by the way. But when we're talking about passive, it's always about doing a small amount of work or some degree of work upfront that starts growing and will pay you money even when you've stopped working, or with relatively little effort. So, for example, the Travel Doctorpreneurs is an opportunity that we have offered through Medic Footprints, and that's something that I'm personally involved in. And what I love about it is that you've got 2 options there. You've got the selling the travel side, and then you've got the team building side, which is the passive revenue side that you can do over time. So one of the team members actually is a full-time GP, right? So full-time GP, family, commitment, etc., etc. So this person, Kachi, you can look it up. Catchy, in 2 years of doing this travel business, he has made £200,000 in commission just from selling travel. So how does that work? He sets himself up as a travel agency. He sells travel to his family, his friends, people in his network who are going on holiday. He gets a commission from bookings that he makes. And so he's doing this alongside a full-time job, by the way. So it's doable, it's possible. That's, he's exchanging his time for money when he's booking the travel, but he's also building a team, which is the residual income. So whatever you decide with your strategy, make sure at least one of those income sources is passive. Passive income source, or a scalable product or service or whatever it is. Otherwise, you could end up being trapped in the same position you are now, exchanging your money for time. Within that strategy, think about the time frame. So how long are you going to give yourself to actually achieve your goal of replacing your income? And how long could that take? Again, this depends on various factors. You could be, I'm so desperate, I need to leave next week, which may be quite difficult, but always doable. I never say never. It could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be several years. Whatever it is, write down what is that period of time where you want to replace your income, which may mean leaving your job. It may not, but it may mean leaving your job. And then work back as to whatever strategies you've used, whether that's passive, whether that's active. So active could be consulting, for example. We talked about that in our last podcast. Selling your advice to companies that want it. You don't need to do any further qualifications to do that. You just sell your advice. So this is stuff you're probably already doing in your clinical work, by the way. But that knowledge, that expertise, that network is really valuable to particularly a lot of people in health tech, pharma, consulting, and other industries. So don't underestimate it, because you can sell your advice and support for money. So think about how much you would need to be selling, or how much you would need to be charging, or how much you'd need to be earning at that point, and then work back and develop a strategy on how you would get to that point. Again, that would require sitting down with family, friend, or whoever likes numbers to really work out what is possible. But the most important thing is you've got a time frame, and then you've got a plan to go with that time frame, and set your actionable steps and your milestones according to that, so that you feel like you are on track. And review. Another important part of this that I know a lot of people really struggle with, a lot of doctors in particular, because we're all so busy, right, is time. Is putting the time in on a regular basis. So I recently spoke to a friend of mine, another doctor, who really did not, and actually this is several doctors, really did not want to go back to their clinical practice after taking a sabbatical. For one person, and this was a maternity leave. They've got small children, and essentially it potentially having to retrain as a doctor because of the time taken out, but really did not want to go back at all. I was absolutely adamant, but it's what they know, and it seemed to be the only option. And so the suggestion was, hey, let's work on this strategy. And then it's the concern about time. I don't really have time to do this. I have kids, I have that, I've got to study, but I get it. We're all strapped for time. But how important is this really to you if you want to replace the income that you need to live? Right? How important? If it's not important, you won't be able to find the time, and you end up going back to the same things you've been doing. Right? I'm saying it frankly. And this is the challenge that we all face. Like, there are so many legitimate things that are so important in life, but how many of those things are actually pointing towards what you want, going to help you achieve the life you want? Reflect on that, because when you actually look at it really starkly, there's so much time wasted that actually isn't important. And even if you're saying, hey, I'm maxed out and everything I'm doing is like relevant, fine, but I'm sure you can find 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day, or like 10 minutes a day, whether that's, 10 minutes traveling to work, if you're someone that doesn't work remotely, or that could be 10 minutes before you go to bed, or that could be, like for me, I also, when I'm driving, I like to listen to podcasts. There's always pockets of time in the day where you can either be learning or you could be working towards something, whatever it is. like really identify what those are and then put it in your diary. That's the most important thing. Put it in your diary. Small amount of times consistently compounds to the result that you want. So scheduling and putting that time aside, working out, going back to your time frame, how much time do you need to put in to working towards this? So this could be you're writing this educational course that you can sell, or it could be putting time to work towards finding clients, or if you are deciding, right, I'm going to find a job, which will be 1 or 2 days a week, again, putting time towards that. What does it take to get that job? Am I just going to be relying on applying through the front door, which is applications, or am I going to be building up my network so I can find opportunities that I know are not advertised, because that's where most opportunities lie. So that is the third step strategy. I know it contains quite a bit, but it's really important that you get your head around that if you definitely want to replace your income. And the last step, and this is actually a very important step that I think people don't really consider or utilize, is surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are doing the same thing. So community. There are lots of communities who are all doing the same thing, who are looking to replace their own income or looking to achieve better things from the societal norms of a standard employed job, whether it's clinical or non-clinical. And the problem is, I see a lot of doctors face this. I had another doctor who was, again, considering leaving medicine entirely. I don't advocate for that, but that was what they wanted to do. But they've been told by other seniors that if they left, they would end up essentially without a job and not doing very well and really struggling for money. And I said, well, have you spoken to anyone who has gone and done that? Because these people that you're talking to who are around you, they haven't done it. So they only know what they know. So how can they possibly know? And so this person was like, no, I actually haven't. It's like, you need to surround yourself with like-minded people who are doing what you want to do. And it's not just a one-off conversation. You need to be doing it consistently, continually, every day. At the moment, we are all brainwashed. If we're working most of our time in a certain institution, we're brainwashed into a certain way of thinking. So your job, in order to achieve your goals of replacing your income, you need to go and brainwash yourself into a different way of thinking, so that you and surrounding yourself with like-minded people so you can achieve your goals. Right? So community is an important part of that. So just to summarize the 4 steps to replacing your income, it's be clear on your why. Check out your finances, evaluate them, and cut your expenses down. Have a clear strategy and make sure that one of your income streams, especially I like to focus on multiple, not just one, at least one of them is passive. Have a clear time frame, actionable steps, and track your progress. And 4 is make sure you surround yourself with your tribe of like-minded people that you can spend time with. And hey, this is what the Doctors in Industry Fellowship offers, right? We have, and this is one of the reasons why I designed it the way I did, because I know there are a lot of programs out there that are like 4 weeks, 8 weeks, all done, even 12 weeks. And the reality is, a lot of the work that we do with doctors is the ability is there, the mindset is not there. And they've, as doctors, we've been brainwashed into a certain way of thinking, which is great for the institution that we work for, but it's not great for the wider world, which is what you want. So we want to help brainwash you into what you want to achieve, to get you into the right mindset of what you want to achieve, because that will take you to limitless places and will open up so many amazing pathways. And I have to say, one of my fellows at the moment, GP, wanted to get into pharma like everyone else, pharma, health tech consulting. Everyone wants to do that, right? All doctors want to do that right now. Not the only options, but it's the nearest thing that we can see. So, hey, it's going to be one of those 3. Anyway, so he was one of them, pharma, and I took him outside of actually what value can you offer? Because there are a lot of doctors going into pharma who are saying, who can all do the same thing. They're great problem solvers. They work well with people. They're analytical, good communicators, blah, 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 blah. Everyone says the same thing, right? Everyone. However, I asked this person, so, what makes you outside of being a doctor? And this person absolutely loves music, and actually had music, like myself, had music before they went into medicine. And so now this person has, having gone to a biotech conference, has put pharma aside. Like, a number of doctors in our fellowship who decided they wanted to do pharma and then decided they did not want to do pharma after working with us. And not because we've got anything against pharma. Like, pharma is, we've got some people who have actually just got into pharma as well. So it's really about working on the individual, on you, as to what is right for you rather than what is right for the masses. And so this person has now developed a really exciting niche in music health tech. You can look them up because actually they're the only person. And he's doing this very publicly, so look him up. But this is why community is important. It's to enable you to learn from other people's mistakes, but also learn from other people's opportunities and get opportunities from other people, right? And that's where you will get your way out of the financial trap of your job, if you feel financially trapped in your job, and replacing your income. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for listening to this episode. It's very close to my heart because I know a lot of doctors really struggle with this. And if this is you, please feel free to email us at team@medicfootprints.org, or join our community at medicfootprints.org/join our mission. And remember, we are opening for the new cohort of Doctors in Industry in September. The applications will come out very soon, in the next few weeks or so keep your eyes peeled. We also have a non-clinical consulting workshop beforehand, but again, you'll be the first to know if you're on our mailing list. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful day, and if you're still listening on and we've got another episode coming, which we always do, then on to the next episode. I'll see you then.